session is focused around our shoulders and our hips. So we're going to be stretching them a lot and also strengthening them, especially our shoulders. You will need a belt in today's session, and you'll also need at least one block. So have those ready for when we begin. As always, if you've got any pain whilst you're moving through the class, please take yourself out of that pose that is painful and uncomfortable, and you can do any other pose that you prefer, or just wait for us in down dog or in child's pose. And I think especially with our shoulders and our hips, a lot of people may have injuries, or some people may have injuries, and I want you to be really careful with that. Do what you can do, and if you feel that maybe the session isn't for you because you've got those injuries, then that's okay as well. But yeah, I'll give options as always, so there will be something for you to do. I hope you have fun. Usual. Just one thing I wanted to show to you before we start. From down dog in our Sun Salutations, we're going to go through a couple of options to open our hips. So the first one is going to be just to raise one leg up to three-legged dog. Then the next option is, the next Sun Salutation, is to open our hips to the side. So I'm maybe showing you from the front. So like this, then we're opening our hips. And then the next option, only if you want to go with it, obviously, you don't have to do it, is from here, we're going like that, and then we're dropping over into Wild Thing, like this. And then coming out like that again. Obviously, you don't have to do it. You can if you want, and you can try if you want. I just wanted to show you sort of what the 3 steps to get there are. But again, as I say, you don't have to do it at all. Just pull the carpet away. Okay, good. So now I've shown you that, let's get started. We're going to start in child's pose. And maybe let's have our knees slightly apart, opening our hips a little bit, sinking in between our legs if we can. Arms out in front of you. If you wanted, you could, again, you could get a block, place that under your forehead. That sort of takes a little bit of that sinking out. You can take a little bit, make it a bit more gentle to begin with. You don't need to do that. Just lie here. If you prefer, you can also have your arms alongside your body, or the palms on top of each other, or just ahead of your head. And maybe have a sigh. Deep inhale, full exhale. Just relaxing here. Arriving on our mat. Arriving in this moment, finding stillness in our body here as that little relaxation, and in our mind. Breathing in and out through the nose. And trying to breathe in fully. Breathe in as much as you can, fill your lungs. Feeling your abdomen press against your thighs. Exhale. Feeling your abdomen move away from the thighs a little bit. Maybe sinking a little deeper. Inhale. Lengthening. We're breathing into our abdomen, our ribs, and our shoulders. Feeling maybe your shoulders, your chest lift a little. Exhale, your shoulders sink down, your chest might sink down a little bit to the ground, belly button towards the spine. Inhaling here, exhaling fully. Taking a few more breaths in your own rhythm. Deepening the breath, bringing awareness of waking yourself up a little bit here. And we're now going to walk our right hand through the middle, and if bring our hands, stretching our arms out, walking our hand over and placing it on top of that left hand. Your head will probably move a little bit because your arm will come in the way, and pressing the palm of the right hand onto the back of the left hand, staying for 2 breaths. Feeling that shoulder stretch, that stretch of the right side body. Very nice. And now we're going to take our right hand off, walk it back to the right side, the head back in center, and now walking that left hand over. Walking it over gently and pressing, if we can bring the hands on top of each other. If you find that really uncomfortable, you could also have the hands next to each other. And pressing the palm of the left hand down on top of the back of the right hand or into the mat. And staying here for a few breaths. Alright, we're going to walk that left hand back to where it was before. One more breath in child's pose. Inhale through the nose, exhale through the mouth if you want. Inhale, we're pulling our hands under our shoulders, and exhale, we're pressing the ground away. We're coming to seated, to kneeling. Lovely, very gently, beautiful. Okay, we're going to sit in cross-legged. You could also sit kneeling if you find that comfortable, but my calves tend to fall asleep after a little while. And we're going to do a little bit of a shoulder mobilization. We did that a couple of weeks ago. So we're going to bring our arms to like in this cactus shape. Lovely. And we're going to inhale, bring our elbows together, maybe even bring our forearms to touch, but if you can't do that, that's fine. Exhale, open. Inhale, close. Exhale, open. Trying to have the shoulders at shoulder level, arms at shoulder level. Close. Exhale, open. One more. Inhale, close. Exhale, open. Dropping the arms. Maybe a little roll of the shoulders if that feels good. Going to bring our hands now on our shoulders if we can. And we're going to do circles with our arms. First we're circling in. So even if you could even try to bring your elbows to touch, but it's not necessary. Do one circle, do them sort of at a comfortable pace. That's 3, 4, and 5. And now the other direction. Do it at your own pace. Do 5 of each way. 2, 3, 4. Hearing our shoulders crunch. 5. And let go. Maybe rolling our shoulders here again. Yeah, stretching the neck. Nice, that feels good. Rolling the neck, that's a nice idea. Rolling the head. Do a couple of rolls here. Nice idea, Jack. And then again doing it in the other direction. Feeling that stretch in our neck. Lovely. Coming to center with our heads after I've rolled a little bit. We're now going to bring our arms overhead. To touch if you can. If you find that uncomfortable, it can be shoulder width apart. And we're now going to drop our hands behind us. It's doing like a double tricep stretch. Maybe seeing if we can bring our thumbs to the sort of the bottom of our neck, but you don't need to touch your back at all. It could be here, just from the side, anywhere, either touching or anywhere here. Stay for another 2 breaths, pressing the palms into each other, activating that a little bit more, and letting go. Lovely. Great. We're going to do a forward fold, just walking our hands out in front of us, And staying wherever is comfortable. Don't worry about bringing your head to the ground or your elbows to the ground. Just stay wherever is comfortable. And staying here for 3 breaths. Inhale, we're pushing the ground away. If our elbows on the floor, we're lifting them off and we're walking our hands gently back towards us. And we're going to change, if we were sitting cross-legged, we're changing that seat so that now the other foot is either on top or in front of the other foot. So we're stretching both hips the same way. And we're going to walk out our hands gently, elbows down if you want, and stay here for 3 breaths. Looking toward the space between your thumbs or just right down to the floor, whatever is most comfortable. Okay, inhale, we're pressing into the ground, and exhale, starting to walk our hands back to center. Lovely. Okay, we're going to come into tabletop. Hands under our shoulders, and we're going to straight away, so the hands are under the shoulders, hands are shoulder width apart, wrists, elbows and shoulders are stacked on top of each other, fingers really nice and wide, middle finger pointing forward, knees are hip width apart and under our hips. And we're going straight away, we're going to tuck our toes here. We're lifting our knees off and we're just staying here with our knees hovering if that feels good, otherwise just leave it. We're just going to stay here for a few breaths, working our core. Knees are, I don't know, a couple of, like an inch or something off the floor, 2 inches. Staying here. 1 more breath. Feeling the legs working. Inhale and exhale, we're pushing into our downward dog straight away from here, moving through. And in our downward dog, you can walk your heels. We can wake up our calves to begin with, bending one knee, straightening the other, seeing if we can push the heel close to the ground. Then changing around, doing that as fast or as slow as you find, as you enjoy. And finding stillness now. Bending the knees if you need to, it's early on. We want to have a flat back here. Imagine that we're pulling our heels towards the ground, engaging our calves. Maybe engaging our belly a little bit, tucking it a little bit so that we've got a strong core, working the back and the core. Hands are still shoulder width apart, middle fingers pointing forward. Pressing into the whole hand, so the ball of the hand, with the knuckles of the fingers, where the fingers meet the palm. Pressing to the whole palm so that we protect our wrists. Shoulders are away from the ears, shoulders slightly pulling apart and looking towards our big toes. Staying for 1 more breath. Lovely downward dogs, everyone. And now gently walking our feet forward. And stopping behind the hands, like a hand width or length or foot length behind. Just hanging here. If you want, you can bend the knees a little bit. Just hanging, feeling that hamstring stretch. And maybe swaying from side to side, waking up our back. Doing a little dynamic hamstring stretch here as well. If you're swaying, come back to center and stillness now. Bending your knees, bringing your abdomen and your ribs, your chest in contact with your thighs. Tucking your chin to your chest and we're rolling up. Slowly rolling up, straightening the legs, rolling up through the back. And last thing that lifts is the chin off the chest. Great, well done. Okay, let's have a look what we're doing. Great. Okay, we're coming to the front of our mats. We're coming to Tadasana. As always, Garudasana, you can bring your feet either together to touch or hip width apart, whatever you prefer. Can be different from last week, can be different if you always have your feet together and you want to give it a go, whatever feels good to you today. Wherever we are, we're going to lift our toes off the ground and spreading them wide like a fan, and then lowering them one at a time. So first the little toes, then the fourth toe, then the middle toe, the second toe, and the big toe. And if you want, lifting our heels, placing them down, have that really nice firm grounding. We are tucking our pelvis a little bit, so what that means is just that tiny tuck, bring that bum in a little bit, and at the same time what that does, we're engaging our core. Rolling the shoulders up, back together and down, opening our chest, doing that as we bring our shoulder blades together, palms facing forward. Standing tall as if someone's pulling us by the crown of our head, and tucking the chin a tiny bit to have a nice flat neck. Standing here for a moment, looking great, everyone. Okay, with the next inhale, we're raising our arms overhead, palms touching or shoulder width apart, whatever you prefer, and exhale, we're folding down. Bringing our hands either side of our feet, bending the knees if you want to, forehead towards the shins. Inhale, coming into half forward fold. Palms to shins, nice flat back. Someone could rest a drinks tray on your back. Exhale, hands down, we're stepping back with the right foot and we're staying in this lunge for a couple of breaths. Pulling the right heel back will engage that hip flexor stretch on the right a little bit. You might feel that, hopefully feel that. Pulling the right heel back. Breathing, looking down, looking just in front of our left big toe. 2 more breaths here. And with the next inhale, we're going to lift that left foot off and step into plank. Inhaling a plank and coming down, whichever way you want, knees, chest and chin, half chaturanga or chaturanga are all options. Inhale, sliding into Cobra. Untucking the toes, elbows into the body, looking forward, shoulders away from the ears. Inhale, and exhale, we're lowering from here. We're lifting up, coming into a tabletop. We're going to place our elbows on the floor now, or our forearms on the floor, sorry. Our forearms are about shoulder width apart. And we're now going to, if you want, you can bring your palms together, lifting your hands off the floor here. And you could try and bring your forehead towards the mat, stretching your shoulders here, maybe pulling your bottom back a little bit, stretching your shoulders as we're here on the ground. One more breath here. If there's any pain, please come out of this pose. Inhale and exhale, coming up, moving through, hands on the forearms on the ground again. We're coming back with our landing on our belly, coming through another Cobra. Cobra here. Inhale, exhale, we're tucking the toes and we're pushing into our first down dog. Just trying to down dog. We're staying here for a couple of breaths. In down dog, maybe stepping your feet forward a little bit. Down dog again, nice flat back, engaging our core, looking towards our toes, maybe bending those knees a little bit. Feeling your shoulders back. Breathing for 2 more. And with the next inhale, we're going to step our hands, our right foot forward between our hands. Exhale, followed by the left foot. Inhale, palms to shins, looking down, half forward fold. Exhale, full forward fold, hands either side of the feet, maybe forehead shins. And inhale, coming up, engaging the core, flat back. Exhale, hands into heart center. Lovely. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, we're folding down. Inhale, half forward fold, hands to shins. Exhale, hands down. We're stepping back with the left foot and we're staying in this lunge. Breathing here. Pulling the left heel back to activate that hip flexor stretch. The further back you step, the more you're going to feel it in your hip flexor. So if you want, you could even shimmy your foot back a little bit. No need to though. One more breath here. And inhale, we're stepping back with the right foot, coming into plank. Inhale, exhale here. Inhale and exhale, we're coming down whichever way you want. Chaturanga, Cobra, half Chaturanga, knees just chin. Inhale, sliding into our Cobra. Or if you want the Chaturanga, you could also do an upward dog. Inhale, exhale, we're bringing our belly down. Pushing back into that tabletop and bringing our forearms to the mat. If you want, bring the palms of your hands together. Now shifting back, lifting the hands off the ground and feeling that stretch. Maybe bringing the forehead towards the mat. Feeling that shoulder stretch, hopefully. As I said, the more you sort of pull back in the opposite direction, the more you sort of bring your bottom towards your feet maybe, the more you should feel the stretch. One more breath here. And inhale, coming up, bring the hands down and let's slide into our Cobra again on the inhale. Lovely. Inhale, exhale, tucking the toes, pushing into our down dog. Again, if you want, stepping your feet in a little bit. And pushing into the ground with your hands, with the whole hand, ball of the hand, fingers, fingertips, knuckles. No one should be able to lift your fingers off the ground. The whole hand is active. And as you push away, maybe you can feel your forehead coming closer to the mat. It doesn't have to be close, but just that direction. Staying for 2 more breaths. Breathing in and out through the nose. Now with the next inhale, we're stepping the left foot in between our hands, followed by the right foot on the exhale. Inhale, hands to shins, half forward fold. Exhale, hands down, full forward fold. And inhale, we're engaging our core, we're coming up. Lovely. Hands into heart center. Great, well done. All right. Let's keep going. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, we're folding down. Full forward fold, pushing the mat forward a little bit. And then full forward fold, maybe you can straighten your legs a little bit more. Inhale, half forward fold. Hands to shins or fingertips to mat in line with your big toes. Exhale, hands down. We're stepping back with the right foot. Straight away, stepping back with the left foot into plank. Inhale, exhale here. Inhale, exhale, we're coming down whichever way we want. Knees, chest, chin, half chaturanga, full chaturanga. Inhale, coming into our Cobra. And exhale, bring your forehead down. We're pushing back into our tabletop. We're going to do 1 more of these shoulder stretches in the Sun Salutation. Okay, so we're bringing our elbows down so the forearms are on the mat. Bring palms together and lifting the palms maybe off the ground, pulling our glutes back more into a child's pose and maybe bringing our forehead to the mat. Staying here for 2 more breaths. Feeling that shoulder stretch. To intensify the shoulder stretch, you can imagine melting your chest closer to the ground. Okay, coming out. We're coming through that tabletop on our forearms and then pushing through a Cobra. Inhaling in Cobra. Exhale, we're tucking the toes. We're pushing up into a downward dog. Stepping our feet in a little bit. And inhale, we're lifting our right leg into a 3-legged dog. First one of that sequence that I showed you at the beginning. Point your feet back. And as you're in your down dog, maybe you're able to bring the heel of your left foot of that standing leg closer to the ground. Inhaling here, staying for one breath here. Actually, let's stay for one more. And with the next inhale, we're going to come onto the tiptoes of our left foot of the standing leg. And we're going to step that right foot in between our hands. Inhale, exhale here. Nice. Exactly. If your foot lands halfway in the middle of the mat, just hold it with your arm forward. And with the next inhale, we're going to come up into high lunge. Nice. Working our balance in a high lunge. And in your high lunge, stay for one breath first and set ourselves up. So you want to have your hips pointing forward. Imagine you have headlights on your hip bones and you want them to point forward. Staying here. And if you want, maybe lifting the tip, coming onto the tiptoes of that right foot of the front leg, and maybe sinking a little deeper into that hip crease of the right leg, and then placing the heel down. Now a much deeper bend maybe in that front leg. One more breath. Inhale, exhale. The next inhale, we're shifting on our back foot and we're coming into that warrior two. The sole of the back foot is down, flat body. Fantastic, well done guys. Arms are at shoulder level. Working our shoulders by carrying our own arms, the weight of our own arms. Your knee is more over your ankle of the right knee, or a little bit behind, but you don't want it to shoot forward. That's not good for your knee. Body's nice and flat. We're looking towards that front middle finger. That right middle finger. 2 more breaths here. And inhale, exhale, we're cartwheeling our hands down either side of that front foot, shifting onto the ball of the left foot, the back foot, and stepping back into plank. Inhale here, exhale, we're coming down whichever way we want. Inhale, sliding forward into Cobra. And we're going to come into a down dog straight away. No shoulder stretch at this point. Stepping our feet in a little bit. And staying in down dog for a few breaths. If you want, you could also rest in child's pose for the moment. Whether child's pose or down dog, come back to breathing in and out through the nose. If you are resting in child's pose, let's come back into a down dog now. One more breath here. And with the next inhale, we're stepping our right foot forward, followed by the left foot on the exhale. Inhale, half forward fold, hands to shins or fingertips to mat. And exhale, we're folding down. Inhale, engaging the core, coming up with a flat back. Exhale, hands to the heart center. Fantastic, guys. Great, other side. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, we're folding down. Inhale, half forward fold. Exhale, we're stepping back with the left foot, followed by the right foot straight away. In plank, we inhale. And exhale, we're coming down whichever way you want. Inhale, sliding forward into Cobra, or maybe an up dog if you were in Chaturanga. Now we're coming down with our belly to the ground, forward to the ground, pushing up into that tabletop, bringing our forearms to the ground and palms together, and we're doing that shoulder stretch one last time here. Pulling our glutes back, melting our chest towards the ground, maybe bringing the forehead to the ground, stretching our shoulders here. Breathing here in and out through the nose. Maybe experimenting with where your hands are. If you pull them back further towards your head, does that intensify the stretch? Bring them forward. One more breath. Now the next inhale, we're coming through onto that forearm tabletop and sliding through into our Cobra. Inhaling Cobra, Exhale, we're tucking the toes, we're pushing up. Stepping the feet in maybe a little bit in our down dog. And inhale, we're lifting the left foot now into a three-legged dog. Maybe pointing the toes back. Pointing the toes so that the whole left leg is doing yoga, even the toes are engaged. And as you're pressing into your, pushing into your standing right leg, maybe the heel is coming closer to the ground. Inhaling here for 2 more, or breathing here for 2 more. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, we're coming onto our tiptoes of the right foot. And exhale, stepping forward with that left foot in between our hands. Nice. And inhale, we're coming up into a high lunge. Brilliant. Setting ourselves up here. Maybe if you want to help you with that alignment of your hips, you could also bring your hands on your hips, pushing. But slightly what you need to do is that you need to push your right hip forward a little bit. You want them in line with the short edge of your mat, both hip bones pointing forward. Inhale, exhale. And maybe with the next inhale, coming onto the tiptoe of that front foot, that left foot, and sinking a bit deeper into that hip crease on the left. And lowering the heel. Maybe a lot lower now, wanting our thigh coming maybe to parallel the knee and the hip. Staying for 2 more breaths. Well done everyone, nice options. Okay, and now inhale, bring the sole of the back foot down and we're shifting into our warrior 2. You want your body flat with the long edge of your mat. Left knee either over the left ankle or a little bit back. And make sure that the knee doesn't fall in. Pushing it out a little bit. Lovely warriors there. Arms are at shoulder level. Your body is central. Your shoulders are over your hips. You're looking forward at the middle finger of the left hand. Breathing here for 2 more. Inhale and exhale, cartwheeling our hands down either side of the front foot, coming on the ball of the back foot and stepping back with a left foot into plank. Inhaling in plank, exhale, coming down whichever way we want. Inhale, sliding forward, Cobra, or maybe upward dog if you did Chaturanga. And exhale, we're pushing straight into downward dog. Stepping the feet in. In downward dog, we're connecting with our breath again. If we started to breathe in and out through the mouth, and whilst we're in those challenging poses, let's connect with our breath again. You can always take a short break in child's pose. Staying for 2 more breaths wherever we are. And if you're in child's pose, coming back up to down dog. 1 more breath here. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, we're stepping forward with the left foot in between the hands. Follow with the right foot on the exhale. Inhale, half forward fold. Hands to shins or fingertips to mat. And exhale, we're folding down into a full forward fold. Pushing the mat forward with our hand. Maybe straightening those legs a little more. We're getting warmer. Inhale, coming up, engaging the core. And exhale, hands into heart center. Lovely, well done everyone. We've got 2 more rounds of Sun Salutations left. So, let's get going. Okay, standing at the front of our mat. Let's maybe lift our toes again. And lowering them down one at a time, lifting our heels, getting ourselves ready. Inhale, arms up. Lovely. Exhale, down. Inhale, half forward fold. Exhale, hands down. We're stepping back with the right foot, followed by the left foot. Inhale, exhale, coming down whichever way we want. Inhale, sliding forward, Cobra or Up Dog. Exhale, pushing back. Stepping into Downward Dog. Stepping our feet in a little bit. Inhale, exhale here, and with the next inhale, we're lifting our right leg off the ground into our three-legged dog. Staying in our three-legged dog for one moment. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, and exhale, we're bending that right knee, and we're dropping our foot towards the left side. Almost like you're trying to aim to kick yourself in the bottom, in the left glute. And the more you sort of pull your right foot towards the ground, the more you might feel a stretch in your obliques. Lovely, everyone. Really great. Staying for one more breath. Inhale, exhale, and inhale. Coming back into a three-legged dog. Coming onto the tiptoes of your left foot. And we're stepping our foot forward on the outside of our right hand. So the right foot is on the outside of the right hand. And we're lowering our knee, the left knee, coming down. Here, if you want, you could get your block, if it was at the front of your mat, maybe get that if it's in reach. And first we're going to just stay like this, on our hands, in lizard pose. Opening our hip here, our right hip. If you're not feeling very much, you could come onto the toes of your back leg, pulling the heel back a little bit, lowering down again, to sort of lengthen the space between your back knee and the right foot. Not necessary though. Staying here for one more breath. And if you want, you could now try and come onto the forearm of the left arm, and see if you can come onto the forearm of your right arm, the one that's next to your foot. If that's not possible, you can get a block, place that on the inside of your right foot, and place your forearm on that. And that will help you. That will sort of lifts the floor up. And there's obviously two versions how you can put your block down, with the sort of thick part on the floor or the thin part. So you could even increase it like that, if you want. If you don't like this at all, you could also stay on your hands. But we're going to stay here for another 2 breaths. And another temptation is that the knee falls out a little bit, and it will probably happen, but trying to bring your knee more over your ankle. I'm breathing here, just looking to the ground, the space between your thumbs, your big fingers. Staying here. Okay, we're going to come onto our palms again, if you were on your forearms. 1 breath here. And now we're tucking our toes off the back foot, the left foot, lifting the knee up. We're stepping into plank. Staying in plank for 1, and then we're coming down, knees, chest, chin, half chaturanga, full chaturanga. Inhale, sliding forward into Cobra. Exhale, lifting up into our down dog. Staying in down dog for a few breaths, or if you want to have a brief child's pose, you can meet me in child's pose. If you are in child's pose, maybe lift into a downward dog again. Staying in down dog for 1 more breath. And with the next inhale, we're stepping the right foot forward, followed by the left foot. Inhale, half forward fold. Exhale, full forward fold. Hands to the ground, bending the knees maybe forward towards the shins. Inhale, engaging the core, coming up with a nice flat back. Exhale, hands at heart center. Same thing on the other side. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, we're folding down. Inhale, half forward fold. Exhale, we're stepping back with the left leg, followed by the right leg into plank. Inhale, exhale in plank. And coming down on the exhale, whichever way you want. Inhale, Cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale, we're pushing into our down dog. Maybe stepping our feet in a little bit. And inhale, we're lifting the left leg now into a three-legged dog. Nice, pointing the toes. Inhale and exhale, we're bending the left knee and dropping it over the other side, trying to kick ourselves again. And as much as we drop, the more we feel that stretch in our left side body. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. With the next inhale, coming back into a three-legged dog, lifting on the tiptoes of the right foot. And exhale, we're stepping forward, left foot on the outside of the left hand. Nice, everyone. We're going to drop that right knee, untucking the right toes. Just going to stay here for a moment. Again, if you wanted, come onto the tiptoes of your right foot, lift the knee, pull back with the heel, and lifting down again to increase that distance between your back knee and your front foot to intensify the stretch. Not necessary though. Great stretch for runners. And I guess we're sitting so much, so for that it's also great. Okay, if you still have your block in reach, bring that to the inside of your left leg. You come onto, if you want, coming onto the right forearm, and maybe onto the block with the left forearm. Or if you don't need the block, you could come onto the mat, or just stay on your hands. Wherever you are, staying there, trying to bring your left knee over the ankle, not have it fall out too much. Staying here for 2 more breaths, wherever we are. Okay, we're going to come onto our hands again if you want your forearms. Coming up, staying in this lizard pose for 1 breath. Inhale, exhale, and inhale, we're lifting onto the, tucking the toes, lifting the knee off the right leg, stepping back into plank. Inhale, exhale here, and we're coming down, knees, chest, chin, chaturanga, half chaturanga. Sliding forward into Cobra. And exhale, tucking the toes and pushing back into down dog. Again, if you want to have a little break in child's pose, that's totally okay. It's your yoga practice. If you're in child's pose, let's lift up to come into down dog. And staying here for 1 more breath. And inhale, we're stepping our left foot forward in between the hands, followed by the right foot. Feet next to each other. Inhale, half forward fold. Hands to shins or fingertips to mat. Exhale, hands either side of the feet, forward fold. And inhale, engaging the core, coming up. Exhale, hands into heart center. This last Sun Salutation is going to give us the 3-legged dog, hip opener, and maybe wild thing, but there's no pressure to do any of these, obviously. You could just relax in child's pose if you wanted. Yeah. Okay, so let's stand at the front of our mat. Maybe let's lift our toes off the ground again, spreading them, lowering them one at a time, coming onto our heels. Great. Okay, inhale, let's lift our arms. Exhale, folding down, engaging the core, full forward fold. Inhale, half forward fold. Exhale, hands down, stepping back with the right, followed by the left, into plank. Inhale, exhale, we're coming down whichever way we want. Inhale, we're sliding forward, Cobra, upward facing dog. Exhale, we're pushing back into our downward facing dog. Stepping our feet in a little bit. Inhale, we're lifting our right leg up, pointing the toes back. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, on the exhale, we're bending that knee, dropping the right foot behind us. And now let's continue with that drop and bring that right foot to the ground on our toe tips. Lifting over, staying in our whelping for one breath. Well done. Great options, everyone. To come back out, looking towards your mat, where your right hand would be. Placing the right hand down and coming back into a three-legged dog. And bringing that foot down. Let's come into a brief child's pose. Everyone once. Maybe a sigh here. And maybe if you're in child's pose, noticing, does it feel different at the beginning? We've worked on our hips a lot, so maybe you're already a bit more supple, it feels a bit more comfortable. That's everyone who's in child's pose. Let's push back into a downward dog. 2 breaths here. And the next inhale, we're stepping our right foot in between our hands, followed by the left foot. Inhale, half forward fold. Exhale, full forward fold. Inhale, we're coming up, engaging the core. Lovely, looking beautiful, everyone. Exhale, hands into heart center. Wonderful. Same thing, other side, last one of these. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, we're folding down. Inhale, half forward fold. Exhale, hands down, we're stepping back with the left foot, followed by the right foot. Inhaling here. Exhale, coming down whichever way we want. Inhale, we're sliding forward, Cobra, upward facing dog. Inhale, we're pushing back into downward facing dog. Maybe stepping in a tiny bit. Inhale, exhale here. Inhale, we're lifting the left foot, pointing it behind us. Inhale, exhale, and inhale. With the next exhale, we're dropping that right foot sort of behind, left foot behind us. And we continue to drop it until it hits the floor on the tiptoes. And coming up, the right arm comes up. Lovely, everyone, beautiful options. Doing whatever feels good. Inhale to come out. We're looking to the ground, to where the left hand would go. Inhale, exhale, we're bringing that left hand down, shifting on the right foot, coming back into a three-legged dog, and bringing that left foot down, downward dog, and maybe one more child's pose here, if you want. Again, maybe noticing how this child's pose feels. If you're in a child's pose, let's come into our down dog for 2 breaths. In our down dog, feel how active your shoulders are. Now with the next inhale, we're stepping our left foot in between our hands, followed by the right foot. Inhale, half forward fold, hands to shins and fingertips to mat. Exhale, full forward fold. And inhale, engaging the core, we're coming up. Hands into heart center. Well done, everyone. Well done, everyone, trying and using options that felt good to you. We're going to be doing our balance. And for that today, if you want, you could try to use a block. We're going to do, keeping going with that hip shoulder focus. So we're going to be doing our eagle pose. So for eagle pose, just to show you again, we're bending one leg and then we're trying to cross it, the other leg over the top, and maybe the toes around the other side. If you find that super wobbly, you could rest your toes of the top leg on a block. And that's, I realize that's a really nice way to have more stability in this pose. And with our arms, we're doing eagle arms. All right, let's start. Okay, so let's stand with our feet together. We're starting with standing on our left leg. So if you want to try the block solution or the block trick, you can put that block next to your left foot. Let's lift our toes off the ground, spread them out and lowering them one at a time. Coming on our heels and placing them down for that really nice firm grounding. We're bending our knees, Actually, I'll do that a little bit from the side. Bending our knees. And let's keep our hands in heart center. Let's lift up our right leg. And cross the right thigh over the left thigh. And here is where you can place your toes on that block, which is brilliant. If you wanted to try, see if your toes can sort of sniggle around your left calf and peek out the other way. I'm sure sniggle is exactly the right term for this. And we're going to try to balance here and bring touch our right shoulder with the left hand, crossing over here, and either like this, the backs of the forearms together, or the palms together. And if you fall out of the balance, that's totally fine. Just try to come back into it. Whew. That block is really helpful actually. And let's stay here for 3 breaths if we can. Okay, and coming out. Well done everyone, let's shake that standing leg. Ooh. Okay, so the other side. Again, if you want to have that block as a little insurance policy, let's call it, have the block next to your right leg now. Again, feet together, and lifting the toes, spreading them out, lowering them one at a time. Bending the knees, and now we're lifting the left leg off. We're crossing the left thigh over the right thigh. Here you can rest your toes on that block, or you can see if you can again sniggle your toes around the calf. You'll notice that one side is more flexible than the other. And now we're touching the left shoulder with the right hand, crossing the left over, and either having the backs of the forearms against each other or the palms. And staying here for 3 breaths. Okay, and coming out, shaking out the feet, the legs. Lovely. Great. We might be needing to block. Actually, if you want, you could also get a cushion, if you've got a thin cushion for one of the seated poses. Didn't think about that at the beginning. And we're going to come to the ground through one last Vinyasa sequence, so one last Sun Salutation S sequence. So standing at the front of our mats. Nice little breath. Okay, inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, we're folding down. Inhale, half forward fold, fingertips or hands to shins. Exhale, hands down, stepping back with whichever foot you want. Into plank. Coming down, knees, chest, chin, half chaturanga, chaturanga. Sliding forward into Cobra or upward facing dog. On the inhale. Exhale, we're pushing back into down dog. And we're dropping our knees. Coming into a brief child's pose again. Just because they're so nice. And with the next inhale, we're bringing our hands under our shoulders and pushing up. Okay, we are going to do a quick seated forward fold, so just the standard one that we do pretty much in every class. So if you want, and you've got a belt ready, get your belt and bring that around the balls of your feet. Sitting, holding your belt. Inhale, sitting nice and tall, and exhale, we're folding forward, we're pulling on our belt, maybe walking the hands forward a little bit. If you don't have a belt, you can hold your calves, your ankles, your feet, or you could bend your knees and do it like that. And staying here for 3 breaths. Looking forward, looking towards your big toes, trying to keep our chest nice and open, shoulders pulling back, shoulders away from the ears. Okay, inhale, looking up, exhale, sliding forward. Lovely, we're going to bring the soles of the feet together and we're coming into Cobbler Pose, Baddha Konasana. For Cobbler Pose, have your hands, the fingers on the back of your feet, thumb on the balls of the feet, opening the feet a bit like the pages of a book. What that allows you to is open, might bring your knees down a little bit, opens the hips a little more. Let's just sit tall here. No falling forward, nothing, just sitting tall. Pulling on your feet a little bit. Okay, so nice and tall. Shoulders again, shoulder blades together, shoulders away from the ears. And you're looking at a space around, I don't know, like a meter, 2 feet in front of you. Okay, rocking back a little bit. I'm going to sort of stay in a very similar seat. You want, if you're sitting with your, facing the front of your mat, you want your, start with the left leg on the bottom. So you want your left shin parallel with the front of your mat. And we're going to bring our right foot, and the foot is flexed, the left foot is flexed. Now you want to, this is Firelog pose, and imagine your shins are bits of firewood and you want to stack them on top of each other. And there's loads of options here. A block is quite handy. So you can either bring your top foot, so the right foot here, more into the middle of your calf. That takes a bit of the stretch out of your glutes. Or if you want, you can bring your right foot on the thigh, just by the knee. And that might be quite an intense stretch here. And it might also be that your right knee is quite far off the left foot. It's a lot of right and left to remember here, it's difficult. And what you can do is you can place the block between your foot and your knee. So now your knee might be on that block, or you could use a cushion if you didn't need so much help. So those are the options. And if you find with your foot on your knee, if you find there's no stretch at all in the glutes because you're super flexible or whatever, you can just slide that foot beyond the knee. That will intensify it. I'm going to sit here just for one moment, settling into the pose for our legs, or into the setting here. And we're now going to do eagle arms again. So we're going to touch the right shoulder with the left hand, bringing the arm across, so the right arm is along the forearm, so the elbow is in the nook of the right arm. We can let go, have the backs of our arms together, or bring the forearms, the palms together. If you're finding this super uncomfortable, you could also just hug your shoulders. You can sit here for a moment, pulling our hands up a little bit and the elbows a little bit forward. That intensifies that shoulder stretch. And if you want to have it a little bit further, you could then hinge forward and fold forward. No need though, sitting up tall is lovely, but by folding forward, the stretch in your right glute, or at least that's where I mainly feel it, is going to intensify. And stop wherever you are comfortable. So that can be here. You can try to bring your elbows or your forearms to the ground, but that's not necessary. Stay wherever is comfortable. And wherever you are, let's stay here for 2 more breaths. Okay, if you fold it forward a little bit, then inhale, gently come up, slowly come up. Releasing our arms, maybe rolling our shoulders a little bit. If you want, you can roll your neck a little bit again if that feels good. Okay, and releasing those legs. We're doing the same thing on the other side now. So we're bringing the right leg to the bottom, as up on the ground. Again, in line with the short edge of your mat. The right foot is flexed. We're now bringing, you obviously help with your hands, bringing the left leg on top. Again, stacking our firewood. You can have your left foot on the calf of the right foot, sort of in the middle of the calf, or you can try and bring it on the knee, on the thigh, just a little bit above the knee. And if your leg is quite high up, if your glute is quite tight, you could bring that block in between your left, left knee and the right foot. Great. So whatever option you've chosen, just settling here for a moment. Already feeling maybe that stretch in our left glute. Great. And now we're going to do eagle arms on the other side. So we're touching our left shoulder with the right hand. Bring the left arm around so the elbow of the right is in the left. And we'll either bring the backs of our arms together or touching our palms or just holding opposite shoulders. That's lovely too. If you've got eagle arms, maybe pulling the arms, the palms a little bit up, the hands up, and pushing your elbows forward a little bit. One breath here. And either staying here, or maybe if you want, folding forward a little bit. Folding as much or as little as you want. Bring your elbows and forearms to the ground. And feeling that stretch in your glute, wherever you are, whichever option you've chosen. I'm really feeling it. And what I find is great in these poses and interesting is just to notice, is this similar, same, very different to the other side. Just noticing, nothing else. Staying for one more lovely long breath. And inhale. If you fall forward, come up gently, releasing the arms. Rolling the arms, maybe shoulders, maybe moving the neck around. Okay, and let's release those legs. We're now going to try and do cow face. We did that recently as well in our other shoulder sequence. So with cow face, what we're trying to do is we're grabbing our hands behind our back, just showing you from the back what we want to do, and we can use the belt in a great way for that. So sitting up, and we're going to see if we can, and you can really help with the other arm as well, pulling your forearm in a little bit and then walking your fingers into the middle and seeing, bringing the other arm up, seeing if we can reach our fingertips. If we can, then maybe holding like this, but if we can't, which is totally fine, we're using a belt and we're just walking our hands close to each other and pulling that belt up with the top hand. Okay, great, so now we know what we want to do. Here, if you want to get a thin cushion, the blocks are a bit too thick. The thick blocks are too big for it. If you have those skinny blocks, then you could use one of those. Great, so the left leg is on the bottom, and we want to have our left knee as much as we can central to our groin. So it's almost like we're also making an arrow shape with our legs, which will make sense in a moment. And now we're trying to bring our right knee on top, trying to stack them on top. And here I would definitely recommend maybe sitting sideways on your mat, because your mat is anti-slippy, and by having both feet on the anti-slippiness of your mat, you'll be able to sort of achieve this pose a little bit better, or at least I find that. So what we want to do is we're trying to have both our knees as central as we can to our chest, to our hip, to our groin. And as you can see, mine are not 100% stacked. And if this is what you achieve, if you're a bit more like this, that's also fine. And one thing that we want, where the cushion comes in handy, it can be tempting to just sit a bit like this and come off the glute of the top leg. And if you find that that's the case and finding it really difficult to get your glute back to the ground, getting a cushion and placing that under your glute, that gives you more of contact, if that makes sense. So doing whatever feels good here. It's going to be a real stretch in the top glute. And we're going to try and bring, so the right leg is on top, so let's bring our left arm behind our back. And again, helping that right arm, pulling your left forearm into the back. Trying to bring the left hand into between your shoulder blades. And reaching up with the right arm, bending it and seeing if we can reach our fingertips. If we can, great, grab your fingertips. and trying to pull up, trying to pull with that right hand. If you can't reach, then you've got your belt. And that's perfect. Belt's great, great problem. And wherever we are, we stay here. Inhale, exhale. And again, if you wanted to, you could fold forward a little bit, but that's not necessarily at all. I think sitting like this is great. Let's stay for 2 more breaths, working our shoulders. And on the next inhale, exhale, let's release. Release the top arm and maybe help the back arm with the other hand. Rolling that left shoulder. Very strong on the bottom, on the arm that's between the back. Great. Okay, other side. We don't want to get wonky. So releasing our legs, maybe stretching them out and wiggling bending our knees, releasing that stretch a little bit. I think we've deserved that. Yeah, doing whatever you want. You could kick, go like that. Ooh, this big, big crunch and go clicking in my hip joints. Doing whatever you want. Okay, once you've released your legs enough, let's bring the right leg to the bottom. So we're bringing like the right foot is very, very close to your glutes and to the left bum cheek. We want our right knee in front of us, quite central, in front of our groin, in front of our chest. We're bringing our left leg on top. And you will have one side that is more flexible than the other. That's just the way we are. We don't move synchronously. And again, trying to, as I said, I personally find that being on sideways on the mat allows me to use that anti-slippiness of the mat. And you can see, like just checking, trying to get your knees as much on top of each other as you can, but obviously we move with our body, not against it. If your left glute has come off, your left bum cheek has come off the ground and you're finding it really difficult to get it in touch with the ground, then get your cushion, bring that under your left glute. Cushion can be a little bit on top of your right foot as well, and just sit like that. Lovely. We're going to bring our right hand behind our back, in between our shoulder blades. Again, helping with that left arm. You can pull in, but obviously don't hurt yourself here. We're not trying to pull our shoulder in and dislocate it accidentally. So we have our right hand in between our shoulder blades. We're lifting our left hand up and bending it and seeing if we can reach our fingertips. If we can, great. If we can't, use your belt. Both options are fantastic. Let's sit here. Inhale, exhale. As I said, if you wanted, you could fold forward a little bit. But I quite like just sitting up tall, do what feels good to you. And staying here for 2. Inhale and exhale, we're letting go of that grip, stretching our top arm out, coming out and helping that backhand out. And rolling the shoulder. Whew, what a stretch. Okay, great. Let's also release our legs, and again, stretching them out, maybe wiggling our legs a little bit, doing whatever feels good, taking them in, maybe bringing your knees in, giving yourself a nice hug, whatever feels good. And we're going to come to the ground now. We are done with our props. If you wanted to do a supported bridge in a moment, you can keep your block. Great, so we're lying on our backs, and there's a little deja vu to our balance, because we're going to do our eagle pose lying down now. And for that, I'm sorry, I'm just taking my head on up. Okay, so we're lying down, we've got both our knees bent, and let's start. We started with the left leg as the standing leg, so we're starting again. So we're going to lift our right leg up, cross the right thigh over the left leg, lifting the left foot off the ground. And now, and the great thing here is, because we don't need to worry about balancing, right? We're lying on our back, so we can see if we can sniggle that right foot around our calf. And because you can lean to the side a little bit, you can even help with your hands. You could see if you can get into this pose a little bit more. And once you're there, if you can't get it, that's still totally fine. Like have the feet either side. But what we want to do is we want to really flex that left foot as if we're standing. And now we're going to do eagle arms again. So touching our right shoulder with the left hand and crossing the right arm over and then doing your version of eagle arms. So either the backs of the forearms together, palms together, or just holding your shoulders. And just lying here for, let's do 3 more breaths. We've probably been in the legs for 2 breaths already. And just feeling that stretch in your hip, in your glutes. It's crazy. I think it's such a lovely way to practice this. Get at that mobility into our hips. 1 more breath. And now we can release the arms, release the legs. Maybe stretching your legs out and maybe, I don't know, wiggling them around, whatever feels good. Stretching one leg, stretching the other. And bring your feet to the ground again. Now walking your feet so that they're outside the mat and have your knees fall in a little bit, just for a brief relaxation here. With our Cobbler Pose, we're opening our hips so that knees are falling out. And here we're opening our hips the other way, other movement falling in. Okay, and lifting our knees up, bringing our feet to the mat, feet hip width apart. And we are going to do our right leg's our standing leg now. So we're lifting our left foot off the ground, crossing our left thigh over our right thigh. We're lifting our right foot off the ground. And again, we're trying to shimmy or sniggle that left foot around the right calf, if we can. If you can't, then that's totally fine. If you can achieve it, even by like sort of, you could all the way around, like sort of roll almost onto your right hip and see if that helps. If you've achieved it, good. If you haven't achieved it, also great. Flexing the right foot, our standing foot. And now we're going to touch our left shoulder with the right hand. Left arm bends and coming into your version of eagle arms, so either forearms together, palms together, or holding your shoulders. And staying here for another 3 breaths. Okay, releasing the arms, releasing the legs. Stretching those legs out for a moment, maybe wiggling the knees, releasing. Bringing our knees into our body, maybe hugging our knees into our chest. Could even rock from side to side very gently. We're coming back to center, back to stillness, placing our feet on the ground one more time. And we're going to do 2 bridges. 2 bridges. And if you want to do a supported bridge, have your block ready. Could actually be a really nice one to just relax in a supported bridge today. Okay, so arms are either side of our body. Inhale, we're lifting our pelvis, coming up. If you wanted to do supported bridge, slide that block below you and rest there. If you want to do full bridge, and coming up, pushing your hips towards the ceiling, your chest towards your chin. Staying here, palms into the mat. 1 more breath. And with the next exhale, we're lowering down, upper back, lower back, middle back. If you're in your supported bridge, you can stay there. If you want to do 1 more active bridge, let's come back up again on the inhale, tucking our pelvis, lifting our lower back, lifting up, coming up here. Maybe if you want to hold your hands, scrunch your hands under your back, do so. Could even come onto the balls of your shoulders a little bit more. Pushing the ground away with your feet, Pushing your hips to the ceiling, chest to chin. Staying here for 2 more breaths. If you are holding your hands, let go of your hands. Inhale and exhale, gently, gently rolling down. If you're in your supported bridge, lift your glutes off the ground, off the block. Pull the block away and move it away. Bringing our knees to our chest, rocking from side to side. And we're going to come into our belly twist. So when you're on the right side next, let's drop our knees to the right. Try and have both shoulder blades in contact with the ground, arms at shoulder level, palms facing up, looking to the opposite side, so we're looking to the left. We're closing our eyes and staying here for a few breaths. Slowing our breath down. Coming to stillness. Inhale, we're lifting our legs off the ground, coming through center. And exhale, we're dropping our knees to the left side. Bring your arms back into at shoulder level, they might have moved. Looking over to the right, closing the eyes. And staying for a few breaths. Inhale, bringing our knees into center. We're hugging our knees one more time into our body. And we're going to stretch our legs out in front of us for Shavasana, our final relaxation. The feet are hip to mat width apart, maybe a little wider if you want today. We've worked our hips a lot, so maybe that feels good. Quite wide-legged if you want. Our arms are by the side of our body, around 3 inches, 15 centimeter-ish, the palms from the hips. Our shoulder blades are coming together a little bit so that our chest is open, shoulders away from the ears. Our chin is tucked slightly for a nice flat neck. Release all the tensions in your face, all the tension in your face. Smooth forehead, no tension between the eyes. Not holding, clenching the jaw. Teeth slightly apart, tongue just lying in your mouth. Also releasing the muscles behind your eyes, the eyeballs, feeling them sink into the eye sockets. Releasing any tension in your nose. And feeling the air flow in and out through your nostrils. Feel that sensation of the cold air entering your nostrils. And feeling the sensation of the warm air coming out when you exhale. Lying here and enjoying that softness of your body, that warmth that is radiating through your body. That glow that you can feel maybe. Feels like the calmness that you get when, after a long walk on a Saturday or Sunday afternoon, you come home to your house, your flat, your room where you live. and no one is there. There's that feeling of stillness, almost like the air isn't moving. The dust particles are just hanging. Time has stopped. Try to find that feeling of stillness now, in your body, in your mind. Slowly arrive back into this moment. Arrive back on your mat. Maybe have a deep breath in and sigh on the exhale. Bring movement into your toes, your ankles, your fingers and wrists. Bring your legs together, your arms overhead for one full body stretch. Making yourself long. Release. Bring your knees into your chest and rocking from side to side. And when you're on the right, dropping your legs over to the right. Bring your forehead, bring your head on your right upper arm as a pillow. Left hand is in front of your chest. Inhale and exhale. Let's gently press into that left hand to come up to seated. Lovely. Just come sit for one moment. Have one big inhale, circling the arms. Exhale, pulling our hands down. Inhale, bringing our thumbs to our third eye, to the space between our eyebrows. For clear and kind thoughts. Thumbs to our throat, for clear and kind words. Thumbs to our heart center, for clear and kind feelings to others and to ourselves. If you want, let's bow with a gratitude to the practice of yoga and gratitude to ourselves for moving today. Thank you so much for being with me here today.